Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
It's Wild Card Weekend, and you can follow all the action at BetOnline.net. For the first time in league history, 6 games are on the board during the opening round of the playoffs. Feature games Saturday include Indy at Buffalo and LA at Seattle. On Sunday, Chicago visits the Big Easy, while divisional rivals Cleveland and Pittsburgh square off. Check out all the action this week at BetOnline.net as the journey to Tampa gets underway. Always available online or your mobile device. Visit BetOnline.net today. Bring the game home at BetOnline.net.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Christopher Media, let's make some noise. Welcome to Beer Nuts, a weekly excursion into the world of craft beer, brought to you by MichiganBeerGuide.com. And now, here are the Beer Nuts.
All right, it is 165. Tonight, we're raising the glass. We're going to be toasting. We'll get into that a little later. I'm Chris. I am in St. Clair Shores, Michigan. My last Untapped was Sexual Chocolate from Foothills Brewing.
Nice. Dugout.
This Dugout, I'm in Clawson, and my last Untapped check-in was Paradigm Double IPA from Urban Rest Brewing, West Coast style Double IPA, and they delivered the beer.
Nice.
Awesome. Welcome, John Golden.
Hi there. My last Untapped check-in was Label Up by the Minton Brewing Company. It was a brown ale with maple and pecans and a rich, malty brown ale base.
Sounds delicious. All right, over to Dearborn to Greg.
Good evening, everybody. Greg in Dearborn. And my last Untapped check-in was from Founders Brewing Company. Their Canadian Breakfast Stout, their 2019 version. Always an old reliable. Enjoy it.
Always a good one. JR here in Tucson, Arizona. And my last Untapped check-in was I've Got 2 Pickles, a pickled Gosa from Tombstone Brewing Company. And I was kind of skeptical on this one, but it was really easy to drink and not too pickly, but just enough that it tastes like pickles. So good job on another good winner from Tombstone. And last but not least, we are going to Los Angeles to Steve V.
Hello, everybody. My last check-in was from Reunion Brewery out in Brooklyn, and I had their Lizard IPA. It was very good. Nice. It was a collaboration, so it was pretty good.
All righty now. So the theme of tonight's episode is the toast episode. We're going to toast and raise our glasses to people we want to recognize that are stepping up in the face of adversity in these trying times. We're not going to focus on the negative. We're going to focus on the positive and all the great contributions and sacrifices people are making these days. So before we start reviewing beers, I want to remind everybody to please enjoy a beer with us if you're listening to the broadcast. A lot of people are home and have plenty of free time and hopefully plenty of beer stocked. So please join us and crack open a cold one. And we always want to remind everybody we are not pretentious beer snobs. We are just simple, ordinary people wanting to introduce more good beers to more good people. So with that being said, let's get in and review some beers and toast to some people out there that deserve our recognition and gratitude. So we're going to start tonight with the 4 Michigan guys and move west gradually, and we're going to start with Dugout with the first beer of the episode.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I am starting off with a Michigan beer. This is Dugout in Clawson. This is from Transient. You may have heard them mention if you've been listening to the last few episodes. Transient Prince of Barkness.
Ooh.
Greg knows this one too.
Yes, sir.
I picked this bottle for a reason because I got two toasts to give here. The first toast being related to this bottle was with I wanted to toast my cousin, one of my best friends, dear friend Rudy, who had passed away just this past summer, and I missed the hell out of him. It was when I was coming back from his memorial service, when I just happened to swing into Transit, and they had a release, and this was the Prince of Barkness release, and who did I run into there was Greg Schmidt. So cheers to you, Rudy. You are well missed by a lot of people. So that's the first part of it. The second part of it is it's what's going on now, and everybody's lives are pretty well impacted by the thing of which I must not speak. So I would like to toast my homebrew supply shop owners, Gary and Gordy, and hopefully they'll listen in on this episode. But I wanted to toast those two guys because they've figured out a way to not only stay open with the beer end of things and having people order online and pick up beers, but also stay open for the homebrew supply thing and curbside delivery, post your orders online, and I mean, I've brewed a good 4 or 5 batches of beer between myself and with John Golden, and all the ingredients coming from those guys. I mean, seriously, they've got some dedication. They took a huge risk in opening their business, and God forbid that this kind of thing should happen to them, but they made the best of it. And cheers, guys. I mean, if it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't be brewing as much as I was and putting out all the good beers. So that's me, and I'm going to stick with that one.
All right. Raise a glass to the homebrew shops. All right. And I believe that means I am next. So I have here. It was supposed to be last week, and it's good.
Hey, Chris?
Yes.
Before you go, we're going to get a review of the beer, Doug?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I got all wrapped up into the other stuff.
Understandable.
Okay. All right. Prince of Barkness. It's an imperial stout, and this is similar to some of the other ones. The base stout is similar on this one to some of the other transits we've reviewed recently, but this is with vanilla, cinnamon, coffee, maple syrup, and it's aged in a whiskey barrel, then a blend of bourbon and maple syrup barrels. So I'm almost right in thinking this is triple barrel aged. I mean, it pours as dark as night. I believe this is about 13.5%. And really nice head coming off of here with some really fine dark chocolate colored bubbles. In the nose, you get you really get the vanilla, not so much the coffee. Almost get like a coconut flavor going on it. And then the sip is it's right up front. It's pretty bitter, but the body on it is thick, really chewy. You get really get the bourbon and the maple in here, but it's just really all blended so well together. Great chocolate notes in this beer. There is some booziness in it. I like the bitterness coming off the front of it. I mean, that really makes this more of just than your typical pastry stout. There's some real depth to it, but the bitterness really brings out some of the wood characteristics that are in the barrel. And this, in my opinion, this is fantastic. Wow.
It sounds delicious. All right, so I am up next, and a beer from a brewery that I've never heard of. And doing this show, we've been doing this show since I think 2015, 2016. Heard of a lot of breweries, and a Michigan brewery, quite honestly, that I never heard of, from Grand Armory Brewing. It's barrel aged Nutter Your Business peanut butter stout. Now, JR, I know how you feel about peanut butter beers, but I poured this thing, and this is motor oil. It has the consistency of motor oil. It has the density of motor oil. You cannot see through this. Thick tan head. It sticks to the glass. This lacing is so thick here. You put your nose in it. This smells like a peanut butter oatmeal cookie. It is as advertised. The closer you get to it, the stronger it gets. Oh, a nice, big, thick, heavy mouthfeel. And then you can tell it's real peanut butter in this. It's not, it's kind of like how I am with cinnamon. Like, I'm not a fan of fake peanut butter flavor. Like, you can tell there's actual real peanut butter used in the aging of this. And then it's peanut butter up front, and then the oatmeal cookie in the back, and then the booziness right on the back of the tongue. It's in there. This is delicious. I don't know if you guys also have heard of, or probably have, Screwball peanut butter whiskey. You guys heard of that? I've been drinking that a lot lately. Like, on the rocks, kind of lately. Like a fifth a week lately. So I'm a tough audience right now. And this beer is, and it's 10% ABV. And I got 4 of these, and I'm not mad. I mean, this is delicious. And so far on the peanut butter beers I've chosen to try, there was another one I came out of Kansas City that was really good, but it was kind of a one-off thing that I discovered during the review. But this seems to be widely available. And have you guys heard of this brewery?
Grand Armory, yes.
Grand Armory, very good.
Grand Armory, I've been there a couple times. It's a pretty cool old place in Grand Haven, Michigan, which typically if you go to Grand Haven, there's one really kick-ass brewery there called Outside. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to steer away from there. But yeah, I've had some Grand Armory stuff that's pretty tasty. They did a peanut butter and raspberry jelly beer, I believe, called Mother Smuckers.
Oh,
yep. They did a fluffer nutter stout too.
Had some distribution on that one, and how they get away with that, I don't know. I think it's just funny enough to where the company that they're parroting allows them to do it. So,
or they don't know.
No, they do know.
Okay.
They also make a really good IPA called Weezin' the Juice. It's a New England style IPA.
It's a really cool spot. It is the old Armory in Grand Haven, Michigan, and 1890s brewery or building, and it's just a cool place. They've got they had some live music that was really tasty there, really good, and just a cool old building with projection things on the walls, and it's just, I don't know, I enjoyed the place a lot. Easy to park. It wasn't overly crowded, but just a good vibe in there too. A lot of people were having fun.
Oh, maybe when we're allowed to do things again, I'll have to go check it out.
Yeah, when we're allowed to do things again. Well, maybe they have a virtual camera of see, if you go to their website, some people are doing this, where you have a virtual camera of stuff that was recorded last year.
And I want to raise my glass to, I used to be one of you until I made money in college when I was working part-time radio gigs before I had full-time work. Delivery drivers. All of a sudden, you guys are frontline employees. Hear.
Amen.
Amen is right. And yes, my aversion to peanut butter beers is well known, but that doesn't mean there aren't great ones out there. It's just a personal preference of mine that it's just not my thing. But so I don't want to take away from a quality beer that you just reviewed. So,
and I think the oatmeal cookie, if you're not a fan of the peanut butter flavor, the oatmeal cookie kind of cuts it as well. I mean, it's just a really good blend of these two flavors in this beer.
I'm glad you're enjoying it, and I'm not glad that I'm not there to share it with you.
Fair enough.
All right. Thank you for that review. Let's go to John Golden next.
Okay, this is John, live from Royal Oak, Michigan. Today I have it's a Detroche. It's a Detroch. And this is a Framboise Lambic. It's a Belgian Lambic style. This particular one is, like most Lambics, is it's open fermented. They put them in these big, long tanks that are kind of shallow and let them ferment that way. And then this one has been stored after that for at least a year in a barrel. And this is actually when I pour it, it's kind of it's got a little bit of reddish color to it, but it's generally kind of yellow. But with that, I don't want to say copper, but it almost looks as if you took some yellow or amber colored beer and poured a little bit of red something in there, like some what's the stuff you put in a tequila Sunrise? Anyways, it has
amaretto.
No, the red stuff. Grenadine. That's it.
Grenadine.
It almost looks like a yellowish amber beer with just a little bit of grenadine in it. It has a really nice head, very small bubbles, almost like a champagne, which I know the lambics sometimes are kind of considered sort of a champagne of beer type of thing. Although I don't think Miller will let them actually call that because they probably have that trademarked. But this has a huge raspberry nose to it. There's a little bit of malt graininess that you can smell. And let me give this a taste here. Oh, this is fantastic. It's got that you can really feel the bubbles kind of on your mouth, just as if you would on a champagne. It's very dry, but it's also just bursting with raspberry jam. I don't know if you all know, but framboise is actually French for raspberry. And this is just awesome. It's got so along with the nose, it's got a nice kind of grainy wheat flavor to it, but just bursting, absolutely bursting with raspberry. So I guess I would like to raise a glass of this in a toast, or maybe since this is a French-Belgian thing, maybe it should be a croissant. But like to raise a glass to everybody's own personal heroes. This could be your father, this could be your son, this could be a sibling, a parent, a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, a friend, a co-worker, just somebody who's really truly a hero. And I'm not talking about professional athletes or celebrities, but the real true heroes that are out there. So here's to your own personal hero.
All right.
Well said.
Cheers. I'll drink to that.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. Thank you for that. Nice to get an import. Belgian. Is that an import or a Belgian style?
It is an import. It's made in Wambeek, Belgium. And so specifically, and there's more vowels in this. There's Pajottenland.
Thank God I don't have to try to pronounce that.
Yeah,
but you know what? There's a lot of those Belgian beers that I can't pronounce them, but sure, a lot of them are really, really quality beers. So
yeah, I'm sure, however, that beer is actually pronounced. You weren't even close, but
yeah, probably not. Actually, it was so it's made by Brouwerij. Or, I don't know. I can't even say that word.
Yeah, quit while you're ahead.
Brouwerij, and made in Wambeek, Vlaanderen, Belgium.
Maybe somebody can write us in and tell us how it's really pronounced.
I should get one of my daughter's best friends is actually she been going to school in Belgium, and she just had to leave early to come back after the whole thing that we're not allowed to talk about happened. And she said it was pretty cool. She flew an international flight from Belgium to the U.S. with her and I think one other person on the plane.
Wow.
So that had to be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I would have been like, I'm going to sit in every single seat and just kept moving around the whole time.
Just to do it.
One drink per seat.
That's right. There you go.
No kidding.
What a great opportunity for the Mile High Club.
Oh. Or maybe not.
Well, maybe not.
ChristopherMedia.net.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth, and always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
ChristopherMedia.net.
All right. Thank you, John. I think, Greg, you're up next.
I guess that's right. All right. So the beer that I'm bringing along tonight is from the Aslan Beer Company out of Alexandria, Virginia. This is Dover, which is a bourbon barrel aged stout that is conditioned on mint, Oreo, and vanilla. So, I poured it out and it was compact bubbles of really a brown head here. Didn't last long. It's initially I shouldn't say initially, but on the label it's listed at 16.5%. But Aslan corrected it on their Untapped page and said it's only 13%. So I give them kudos to that. So darkness as could be, maybe a little bit of reddish hue at the very bottom of my glass here. But just dark as can be. So, swirl in the glass and the smell. It's just mostly, I get that chocolate, that vanilla, maybe a hint of mint, but it's not super, empowered, whatever. It's not making itself known. It would be nice if it would get a little bit more mint out of it, but it smells wonderful. So first taste out of it. Thick, syrupy. Wow. Thick and syrupy. You get a little bit of burn out of it from the bourbon. I do pick up a little bit of mint out of it. I mean, really, you can call this like a liquid mint chocolate cookie, which you can compare to what the Girl Scouts would sell every year. But the mint is not overpowering, which is good because I don't think mint overpowering would be that enjoyable. But this is absolutely delicious. I'm really enjoying this one. I mean, for 13%, this is drinking so smooth and absolutely delicious. And I certainly want to raise a toast to. I got a couple people, if you don't mind. One on a serious note, at least in the conditions we've been going through lately. I have a cousin that's a nurse and has been dealing in the Chicago area, with hospitals and dealing with everything that's going on. So I definitely raise a toast to her. And then on a funny note, at least I don't know if everybody's seen this, but to the 93-year-old woman that ran out of beer throughout this whole, epic deal that we're dealing with, and requested that she get more beer. And on her doorstep, miraculously, showed up at least 150 cans of brand new beer. I mean, what a world we live in, to where you could just throw it on Twitter or talk to the media, and then hocus pocus, there it is, brand new beer for you to enjoy. So at least I had to throw in a lighthearted version of that. At least, I mean, that's fantastic. So if any craft brewers out there are listening, I'm getting low on my supply as well, and would love to see as well. So cheers, gentlemen. I hope everybody's staying well and enjoying great beer.
Amen. And I saw the picture. I think the lady hung a picture in her window in the front of her house.
Said, I need a beer.
Yes. And I believe, I'm not 100% sure, I believe it was Coors provides the beer to it.
It is Coors Light. Yep.
So
I will say that it's a missed opportunity for a local brewery to have stepped in and intercepted the brew. No, we got this, and gave them cases of their beer. But what are you going to do?
I will say I did see somebody respond on Twitter after that, was like somebody saying to Old Nation out of here in Michigan saying, I need more beer too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, hey, to all, each their own, whoever they love to enjoy. I mean, request who you like, but as long as we can get through this, right? So,
I don't know.
Well, you know what?
If you tried that yourself, though, a middle-aged, overweight guy standing there with a sign on his door going, I need more beer, is probably not going to get as much sympathy as a 90-year-old grandma.
Well, yeah,
depending on how pathetic we can look, I guess.
Yeah, also, I know we suggested that Chris was saying maybe a local brewery could have stepped up, but how many 91-year-old ladies are drinking IPAs and Russian Imperial Stouts either? So it's probably a
good time to show
probably a better choice for her.
Teach
Although
'em.
we could have given her like
give her a pale ale,
a lager, or pills.
But then we go back to what we always say: we're not pretentious, and to whoever you enjoy it, right? So,
You know what? And God bless her. I hope she enjoys all 150 cans. And that's after that.
However long it takes her.
Amen.
Cool, but you know what though? You're never too old to step up your beer game.
There you go, Steve.
Okay, then. So I'm going to go next. I'm going to start off on a kind of a somber note and end on a more fun note, and in between have a really good beer. So before I get into reviewing my beer, I do want to shout out to friends of Dugouts and mine, Brian and Liz, Michiganders. Brian has lost a cousin and a grandmother recently, and sadly, due to what's happening right now, they can't even pay their proper respects, and it's a very very sad situation that they have to go through that and not be able to say goodbye properly. And they have already said that when things open up, they're going to properly pay their respects. So just thinking about you, Brian and Liz. Know it's a tough time, and we'll get through it. But we just want to know that we're thinking of you and praying for you. So let's. I'm going to lead off with a toast, and then I'm going to have one more toast at the end. So I'm making mine in like segments here. So the toast I have is: I'll drink to those who do. I'll drink to those who don't, but never the ones who say they will and later decide they won't. But the ones I'll toast from the break of day to the wee hours of the night are the ones who say, I never have, but just for you, I might. Wow. I can't believe I didn't mess that up. So, little deep thoughts there. So let's get right into this beer.
Nice job.
Start calling you Jack Handy.
I've had other moments here. So you got good nights and bad nights on this podcast. So the beer I'm going to review now is it's called Mexican Vanilla Imperial Stout from Tombstone Brewing Company. It's a 22-ounce bomber at 10% ABV. I got a head start on this since I'm fifth in the rotation. Happy to say that the bottle's empty, but my glass is completely full. So I've drank maybe a little under around half of this. It pours coal black with a light brown head. That is still slightly lingering. Probably about 30% of the top still has head on it. But it's got nice carbonation. You can definitely smell chocolate and vanilla on this. Chocolate being more of the malty chocolate, because I don't believe there's cocoa nibs or anything like that in this. But the vanilla is definitely prevalent in the aroma. So very nice appearance, very nice aroma. And as I confess, I've already been drinking this, but let's take a sip and see if I can describe it. It's not quite a beer you can chew, but it's, I'd say, medium to full, right in the middle of that range. More than medium and less than full-bodied, but great flavor. Definitely chocolate malt and really a nice level of vanilla in here. It's not overwhelmingly smothering with vanilla, but plenty there. Generous amounts of vanilla, maybe not copious, but generous. It's just really, really flavorful from the first sip to the end, and after about 3 seconds, you just get that like lingering vanilla bean flavor that really is delightful. Vanilla is probably my top ingredient. I love vanilla bean beers, and this fits the bill for me. So as much as I despise peanut butter beers, I love vanilla beers on the opposite end of the spectrum. So I'm glad that Chris got a good peanut butter beer he enjoys, and I got a good vanilla beer I enjoy. Everybody can be happy. And I wish I could share this with you guys. They had, as you know, when we had our guest on, Matt Brown from the brewery, they had a series of barrel-aged beers that came out in the fall that were 15.7 to 15.9%. This is a different batch, obviously, and at 10%. Fortunately, they still have they released two at the same time. It was the Mexican vanilla that I'm drinking, and they also had a Mexican hot chocolate, which I'm not really a fan of milk chocolate or chocolate candy, but in a beer, I seem to be pretty good with chocolate. But I was going to buy like 3 bottles of vanilla and one of the chocolate until I was at the brewery and tasted the chocolate on tap. And oh my gosh, it was like life-changing. I almost probably should have reviewed that one tonight. It reminded me of Hunahpu stout from Cigar City. It had some cinnamon in there, so a little bit of like peppery finish. It was just absolutely knockout outstanding. So I bought 3 of each. They are both fine, and fortunately, they're still selling these in the tap room. They still have some, so they've sold out of all their hoppy beers completely, and they're brewing a triple batch of single, double, and triple Oregon Lots IPA, which I believe we reviewed on our episode this weekend. So I'm probably going to be making the trip down to Tombstone. I'm really looking forward to spend some time in the car, honestly. So I'll be going down to reload because my fridge is starting to be depleted. But this is a lovely beer. I love the label on it. It's got like I'm trying to think of the Mexican art theme, like when Day of the Dead. If you look at like the skeletons that have that Mexican art. With like the flowers around it and stuff, and then there's the skull, and there's different colors around the eyes, and it's really, really a cool looking label with that tribute to the Mexican heritage. I will read on the bottle: this dessert stout was aged for 10 months in our favorite bourbon barrels and finished with a generous amount of Mexican vanilla, thick and rich with notes of chocolate, caramel, and oak. It is dessert in a glass, and I would completely agree with all those. So, again, I raise my glass to everybody, my friends at Tombstone, who continue to be not only producing beer during this time, but selling out everything they can make. So, thanks to everybody for supporting them. So, in closing, before I pass this on to Steve, I'm going to give one more toast, and this one is going to go out to all our first responders, law enforcement, firefighters, and paramedics who are out there on the front line. Certainly a unique time for them as well, with a different set of challenges that they've ever faced, or any of us have ever faced for that matter. So cheers to them, first responders. And all I'm going to say simply is, it matters not if the glass is half empty or half full. Clearly there's room for more.
Agreed.
So cheers, everybody. There's room for more.
Amen to that. Cheers.
All right, let's go to Los Angeles, to Steve V.
Hello, everybody. So since everybody's been cheering, of course, I had to, pour my glass and cheer along with everybody. So I'm doing very well on my bottle. But my choice for today is from Unibroue, and it's their terrible, and not terrible because it doesn't taste good. It's terrible because it's scary. But it's delicious. So it's a Belgium-style quadruple ale. It's 10.5%. It's kind of like one of their seasonal beers that they put out. It's done well. It's won gold medals and silvers and bronze throughout all the years it comes out. So like I said, I opened this up. And everyone's toasting and stuff. I've been toasting along with them. But when you pour it out in the glass, it's very dark. Looks like a Coca-Cola. It had a decent size head on it. Not dark, nothing like that. The first hint of the smell, it's very. You get that fermented smell. They use this kind of like has that wine flavor, and they describe it's from Portugal, and so you right when you put up the pork as it settled in my glass. That went away, but then you started getting the hint of all the spices. They do a lot of kind of like that cherry and raisin and spice notes. Before I drink, obviously I'd like to do my toast, and whenever you have crises like this, you always got to be able to count on.
Up, Steve. We lost you. Can you hear me, Steve? I think we lost him. He's still there.
Well, let me say one thing while he's trying to get back on. Is I took my my lambic and I saved the last little sip in the bottom of the glass, and then I opened up a bottle of some Dogfish Head oak-aged vanilla worldwide stout and kind of mixed it half and half. It's delicious.
So, not driving?
Hello?
There we are. Steve, you there?
Yeah. You got me? Hello?
Yeah, we do now, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Start your
Thanks
toast
for jumping
over.
in. Okay, so start my toast again. Okay, so
Yes,
like
sir.
I said, whenever you have any kind of crisis or anything like that, you can always count on your family. So my toast goes out to family members. I was fortunate, or you can say I was cursed, to be. I'm number 9 of 9 kids, and my family spread out throughout the United States, and I have a sister who's an ER nurse in New York, and she's been having to deal day in day out with everything going on, and I have a sister out here who's helping her out and helping out her coworkers, and started sewing masks and surgical hats for them because they were such short supply. So my sister stepped up and started. She had an ability and did stuff like that, and
We lost you again.
Oh, have a little bit of technical difficulty. You there, Steve?
Yeah. Hello?
There we
Yeah,
are.
you're back. Yeah, you cut out again. I don't know what the.
Okay. So anyway, like I said, I just wanted to raise a glass and cheers to our family and knowing that you can always count on them. So as I drink my beer, it's very, very good. Like I said, you get that taste of those dry fruits, those spices, and then it's a little bitterness. You actually get that kind of like that wine flavor at the end, but it's so smooth. Like I said, this is a 10.5 and it's dark, and it's a quadruple, but it's something you can drink this all night and enjoy it and like I said, wish I can be sharing it with more of my family members tonight.
Amen. Cheers to family members.
Well said, Steve.
And certainly best wishes to your sister in New York. Tough times to deal with what she's dealing with, but the bravery of everybody that's putting others above themselves is something in itself to do a cheers to. So let's all raise our glass to everybody that does that every day.
Cheers.
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 ChristopherMedia.net.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Masspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Masspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
ChristopherMedia.net.
So I think Dugout had somebody he wanted to recognize. If you're ready to do that, Doug.
Oh, sure. I sent you guys all a little news article, and it's just a clip that hit the news. I don't know. I think it was today, and it was a 90-something-year-old woman in Sheboygan County, Michigan, and she had been treated for the thing of which we must not speak. I'm going to say it anyway. She had been treated for COVID-19 and then basically beat it and came home with her husband, who's 93 years old. And they just had a picture of them holding hands on the porch, and it was pretty emotional, you know. But yeah, cheers to that lady and her family.
That's awesome.
What a blessing.
To everybody that's recovered. Absolutely.
You hear about all this negative stuff and people fighting and snipping at each other all the time, and then you hear something like that, and it's like, oh, we're human, you know?
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. Everybody stay strong, and living proof that anybody of any age can beat this thing. It's a tough situation, but try to stay positive, do what we need to do, get through it.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of us are going to probably have a hell of a party at some point when this stuff's over, when we're on the other side of this. So I know Steve V and I were looking forward to coming up to a Michigan Beer Festival next year, or this year, or whenever we were able to go. So, you know, once that stuff's back on the docket, you know, I fully look forward to reconvening with you guys up in the mid.
Or we could just have a beer festival at Doug's house, and everybody in the beer nuts can.
Every day is a beer festival at Doug's house.
That's right, man.
We've done a couple already, so
sure have.
Yeah, some schmuck left a whole bunch of beers over at his house, and we've been drinking them.
Must be a pretty nice schmuck, that's for sure.
I guess I he moved out west or something.
Is that case of White Claw?
No, that was before the schmuck moved west. What are you talking about?
Oh no, there's a case of something else here. Big beers.
Okay, we were going to have Z Beer Man give us the news, but I think something came up. I'm not sure if he's going to make. I'm going to give him one more text to see if he's available. If not, we'll review the beer news next week. So, anybody else have anything to add? Hopefully, on a positive note. Everybody's speechless.
Got my.
Everybody do a shot of whiskey
government today. Is that good?
I have homebrew updates.
Oh yes,
go for it.
Yeah, my bad. My apologies. We have been Dugout reminded we've been neglecting the homebrew stuff. So we're going to try to make that every week updates. So go ahead, Doug. You take it away with homebrew segment of the show.
Homebrew updates. So one of the things I've been doing since I've been confined to the property is brewing a lot of beer. I think I've got 3 batches in some sort of, almost completed sort of way. John Golden will probably fill in with the Polish beer, and then I've got a Northern English brown that would be similar to a Newcastle brown, and then the one I just was unleashing on the taps today, which is a Belgian golden ale, very strong root beer. It had about 9.75% this guy came out to be. So it's really delicious in a strange way right now. It just needs to go into some bottles and then get aged off for a few months, and that'll be awesome. Golden, I'm going to hand it over to you for the Polish beer.
Okay, so this was actually, I guess, the first batch that Doug and I brewed during this quarantine period, and it's the only beer in the BJCP guidelines that actually identifies as a true Polish beer, and it's under traditional or under historical beers, and it's called a Piwo Grodziskie. It's a very light wheat. It's actually a smoked wheat beer. The color is super pale straw color. Traditionally, it's only about maybe 2.5%. Although we couldn't actually bear to do that, so we did kind of push it up into the 5% range. I haven't actually taken a final gravity reading, so I don't have the exact number, but it's somewhere in the 5% range. It's a really just nice, subtle smoked wheat flavor. The smokiness isn't overpowering, but it's there. It's just a really nice beer. And I kind of hope maybe that some microbreweries might kind of pick up on this style and start maybe bringing it back a little bit and giving their own interpretations of this style. It's a real nice one. And I also have a Belgian Pale Ale, which was the base for Doug's root beer that is actually waiting for me to get off my butt and throw it in a keg or bottle it or whatever I decide I'm going to do, but get it carbonated and ready to drink. It's all done fermenting. I did have a little taste off a Thief, and it seems like it's going to be just a real nice Belgian Pale Ale. It's got a little bit of that Belgian yeast flavors to it, but just a nice kind of spring, summer sort of drinking beer. So I'm real excited to get that one in a drinkable condition and start drinking it. Maybe if we're lucky, I'll be able to share it with other people before whether I get allowed out of here or not before it's gone. That'll be the question. It's like, how long will 10 gallons of beer last me?
Well, and that beer is known for having sort of a champagne-like carbonation to it, very highly carbonated, which is
the Polish beer, yes.
The Polish beer, yeah, which sort of adds to the summer porch bomb type of aspect to it.
Nice.
I'm excited to get it. I've got 5 gallons that's been in secondary. It's ready to go. I'm going to add some priming sugar and a secondary yeast and do a secondary fermentation in the bottle with it, just to sort of kind of get it up to that champagne level of bubble. Hopefully it works. Fingers crossed. If not, John's batch is the backup.
Yep, and we actually did this as I go to a golf outing out in the Jackson, Michigan area every year. And for me, this will be if everything works out, this will be, I think, the 5th year for me personally, but the outing is going on its, I believe, 34th year, and it's called the Polish Prince. So I was brewing this beer to basically bring out to the outing. I figure a 10-gallon batch ought to give me enough for everybody in the outing, because there's about 100 guys, to get 1 beer each as an official Polish Prince beer. So that's why we chose to make this Polish beer.
Nice.
Awesome. I wish I could have some.
Yeah, well, you might be able to try one of the 2 test batches that we made. Because if these work out, we got to make 10 more gallons and have it ready for.
These will all be
mid-August.
They're all going to be bottled and available. Where the next one will be the batch for the outing. I mean, this was the initial batch, so I think it's really a cool looking beer, man. It is so gold in color. It's kind of stunning looking.
Well, I got to say, Doug, I'm looking forward to that Nuki Brown, your brown ale that you're making. I'm certain that it'll be better than the Heineken version.
That's up next. Yep, I got that's ready to go. That's ready to keg.
You got to save me a bottle.
Clarifying step for it, so that'll probably be tomorrow night. That I get that into the keg and do the clearing agents in it and let it go.
Awesome. We ought to try to send one to our buddy Matt Anderson up in San Francisco.
Oh, I sure will. Yeah. There were a few people that just to go back a little bit. John and I, we've mentioned this in the show before. JR and I worked for Newcastle Brown Ale. This past weekend before, this past weekend I brewed a sort of a clone of it, but a throwback clone back to like the 70s version of it. So fingers crossed, turns out it should be fine. And it's just about ready to rock and roll. So
awesome. Well, I got to say, I'm really jealous of you guys because having sold all my brewing equipment before I moved to Arizona, which was mostly a function of no cellarable opportunity here. You know, I'm going to have to get a lagering chamber or even just to do ales, fermentation chamber. So there's a lot more involved here with no cellar and hot temperatures, but I'm going to get there. And you know what? This is a perfect time during this quarantine period to brew because there's not much you can do right now, but brewing is one thing you can do, especially since Doug paid tribute to his homebrew supplier that is continuing to supply everybody stuff, and there's a lot of mail orders too.
Hence that toast, you know, to Gary and Gordy. I mean, God, I mean, and now I just found out they're doing CO2 tank swap outs curbside. So I'm like, oh, I'm running out of gas. Who's open? You know, those types of things.
So there is hope for me, and the hope comes from Z Beerman, who unfortunately couldn't make it to deliver the news tonight, but he'll be back next week with a more comprehensive news stories. But he was kind enough to bequeath upon me the Pico brew system. It does little like 1 gallon batches. So I got to clean that all up and figure out how to use it. I've been sitting in my garage since he gave it to me, but just kind of came to mind that I still have the potential to brew with that. So I'm going to have to get that out and tinker with it and see if I can get something fermenting here soon, so I can be back joining the ranks of my homebrew brethren.
Yeah, that's the way to go, JR. Just do something, you know, like as far as like small batches or even a Pico brew, or there's plenty of self-contained batch kind of all-in-one brewery solutions, where you have the kettle and the mash, and it's all in one unit, and you just plug it into a wall and go.
I have my eye on the
to addition with that, if you're in like a hot weather state, then you've got a fermenter that has temperature control to cool it to the temperature you need, where if the outside temperature is 90 degrees, you can still get that down to a 68, 67 consistently.
Or actually, Doug, I do have one word is Kveik. You get some Kveik yeast strains, and those things can ferment at much higher temperatures.
Oh, they can ferment at 100 degrees.
Yeah, so you don't necessarily have to worry about that so much anymore.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back in. I'm still involved with the homebrew club here, and we actually had a meeting on Sunday, a virtual meeting. So that was kind of cool, and we do want to incorporate more homebrewing stuff into the show. So we'll make sure to check in with all you homebrewers on every episode from here on out and get updates, because I think there's a lot of our listeners that also enjoy that segment. So anybody else have anything they'd like to add? Any more tributes, toasts, mentions, stories? Anybody? Okay, well.
Actually, I'll do one quick toast. Here's to our pets that are keeping us company and probably keeping us from going insane.
I'm sure they'd say the other way around as well.
Yeah, and I don't know.
And our pets that say, "Why the hell are you home, bitch? Did you get fired?"
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I've shared it on the show, but I think a couple of you guys know we adopted a rescue dog a couple weeks ago, and his name is Eli, and he's a chow mix. He's pretty short, fairly small dog, comes up to maybe my knees. But
you named him after Eli Manning?
Go Giants!
My son named him that, and I actually, as an inside joke, as an Eagles fan, I sometimes refer to the dog as Carson for Carson Wentz, because I don't like that Eli Manning reference. But my son assured me that it had nothing to do with Eli Manning. He just thought Eli was a cool name for a dog. he's not quite the football fan I am. So I'm not taking it as a like a giant reference. Aaron assured me that he's still an Eagles fan. That's good enough for me. So, shout out to Eli. He's brought a lot of excitement to the family. He's very shy and skittish around people. We believe he's been abused and abandoned. So slowly but surely, I'm finding that the more food I give him, the more he likes me. And I gave him a couple steak bones the other night, and now he really is warming up to me. So just a matter of time till he comes around and grows to trust us. But he's a welcome addition to the home. And more importantly, it's a great opportunity for us to walk more often because we got to walk the dog several times a day. And we're all, it's easy to get caught up and not exercise in these times. But it forces me to get off my butt. I try to at least once a day go along on the dog walks, and sometimes twice a day, and that's a positive too. So, welcome addition to the family. So good bringing that up, John. We have two cats and a dog now, and there was kind of a standoff with one of the cats and the dog at the beginning, but that's all smoothed over now. And we're all one big.
I don't know who's the boss, right?
We're all one big happy family here, with the exception of the humans fighting with each other. I got 11 and a 15-year-old, so there are the sibling rivalry battles. But that's just time for me to go get another beer and roll with it. All right. Well, I think we pretty much recognized a lot of great people. Thank you again to everybody out there who's putting others above yourself. We do show you gratitude with one final toast. And I am going to close the show before our traditional Mexico City trip with this final toast. The wonderful love of a beautiful maid and the love of a staunch true man and the love of a baby unafraid have existed since life began. But the greatest love, the love of love, even greater than that of a mother, is the tender, passionate, infinite love of one drunken sod for another.
Yeah, I love you, man. I love you, man.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Tear my eyes. Awesome.
Quit kissing my ear.
On that note, let's go to Mexico City. So, as they say in old Mexico City,
ChristopherMedia.net. ChristopherMedia.net.
If you like this show, please tell a friend. Please make sure to rate and comment on all your favorite Christopher Media shows. Please follow us on Twitter and like and share us on Facebook. You can subscribe to all ChristopherMedia.net shows for free on ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for listening, and thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.